Linux versus Windows. Now that you know what an operating system is, let's differentiate between Linux and Windows. Linux is an open source OS, and there is no license charges, whereas Windows is owned by Microsoft Incorporated. Therefore, it is a proprietary OS. Linux uses traditional Unix permissions and POSIX, ACL, access control list, for file access, whereas Windows uses ACL. Windows differs from Linux in terms of the architecture. For example, Linux has a monolithic kernel, whereas Windows has a microkernel. To launch applications, Linux uses virtual memory, whereas Windows uses the physical memory. In Linux, the desktop must be installed as an application, whereas in Windows it is part of the kernel. Linux is customizable because it is an open-source operating system, unlike Windows. Linux is more secure when compared to Windows. Linux boots from any partition, whereas Windows will boot from the primary partition when you use the MBR partition scheme. Linux is case-sensitive, whereas Windows is not case-sensitive.